Look at this chunga-wunga of a woman right here. Now, this guy doing the interviewing within this video is interviewing a bunch of the mentally ill left, let's just be very polite and honest about it, only a day or so after the attempted assassination attempt on Donald Trump, and he decided to interview this walking, talking propaganda, communist person right here. And within this 2-minute-ish video, she contradicts herself I don't know how many times. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play the video, and whenever she says something that's on a window licking level, I will pause the video and bully her because she absolutely deserves to get that type of treatment. So let's get on with it.
Absolutely. You guys are out here on the heels of the attempted Trump assassination. Can I get your reaction to what happened the other day?
Well, it's a shame the person missed, but it's ironic that the shooter was also a Republican, and I am scared about political violence.
Right, so she's really disappointed that the political violence literally aimed towards Donald Trump was a failure, but within less than 10 seconds after that, she says she's scared of political violence. Let me put that in other words. Imagine being an arachnophobic, you're scared of spiders, so you decide to go to your local exotic pet shop and buy every single tarantula they have in stock so you can take them home and live with as many tarantulas as possible as somebody who suffers from arachnophobia. Did that make sense what I just said? No, but it makes sense to me because this is the type of mental ill things I expect these types of people to say. Also, this whole thing of, oh, he was a Trump supporter trying to shoot Trump, oh, that's to be expected. I'm more than sure that very recently it came out that he had been donating to the opposite party, so that argument's out of the window.
You're scared of political violence, but you were hoping that he wouldn't have missed.
Yes.
Wow. Could you elaborate on that? I mean, many people are.
Can you elaborate on that? Look at her. Do you think she has any concept of elaborating? It is beyond her thinking because thinking is not possible for her. Again, whenever I have had arguments or any sort of interaction with these types of people, the number one thing I have noticed with them is that they'll call you a racist, they'll call you a homophobe, they'll call you sexist, they'll call you a Zionist or just an overall evil person. And when you ask them to prove it by what have I said or done that makes me A, B, or C, or X, Y, or Z, their response is always, you're a racist because I say so. Like, they have no element of elaborating or proving what they're saying. It's just complete empty, hollow, insults thrown at you. So no, she cannot elaborate, but watch her try. It's really hysterical.
Thankful that the shooter missed and could have led to a lot of conflict in the country.
Regardless if Trump is in power or not, he has a lot of influence, and that makes him a very dangerous person, and nothing will stop.
If, going by her statement right there, anyone with influence must be dangerous. Now, I've said this before and I'll keep saying it. The sword does not choose the path of good or evil. That is dictated by the man who wields it. Anyone with influence can use it for good or use it for bad. Sadly, that's just the world that we live in. People will get that level of power and use it for bad. It's always been the case and it will never change. Same goes for people using it for good.
And we want to live, and sometimes Thomas Jefferson.
This is also something that's quite noticeable within these people. Whenever they're losing an argument, they'll completely shift to something else that is completely off topic. We were talking about Donald Trump having influence and being very dangerous, which in my opinion is, if it doesn't matter if he's the president or not, he's dangerous at the end of the day, then I don't really see why they would care if he is going to be the president again or not. But Again, this is something quite common you see with these types of people. Whenever they're losing an argument, they'll completely change the subject, and when they answer a question that they want answered, they'll use that as an answer for the original question because they have no logical thinking whatsoever.
I wrote a letter that included one of my favorite quotes, that sometimes the tree of liberty needs to be refreshed from time to time with the blood of patriots and tyrants.
Right. So the thing that she doesn't understand with that letter from Thomas Jefferson is she's the villain within that little, letter or story or however you would like to word it. She's the villain. The reason that the American patriots have to soak their blood in the battlefield is fighting off people like her. She thinks she's fighting for the American values, the way of America, to keep America as traditional as possible. Also, little spoiler alert, she is very, very soon going to say the most anti-American stuff you've ever heard. She doesn't really realise that the reason, as I said, that people have to soak their blood to protect their country is because of people like her who come knocking that threaten the American way. But again, these people are so deluded, they think they are protecting the American way, and they're not the threat.
Do you hope to see others also, if all that holds true, do you want to see others try what this young man tried at this Trump rally?
I don't.
That little exhale she just did there was, I want to say yes, but since you're recording me, no, of course not. Political violence is bad. What he did was bad. Like, that was just sheer frustration since she couldn't speak her mind, because she knows if she did that right there, she would definitely come across as the villain, and she had to backpedal.
I don't know if it would do any good.
Okay, interesting, yeah.
Well, if it wasn't going to do anything good to begin with, why are you so disappointed that the shooter missed to begin with? Again, just things don't make sense. I can't even try to unravel this because it's just such a mental health case right here that I'm almost out of my depth, if I'm being quite honest with you.
See, you have a crossbow over here. Can you tell me a little bit more about him?
Okay, this is where Undilla Conto mode activates. Women of her calorie should not dress like that in public, and that crossbow looks like the most toy crossbow ever. Now, I'm not an expert in crossbows or bow and arrows in any way, shape or form, but I'm willing to put, $10 on the idea of those arrowheads are probably really shitty and cheap and probably blunt, and the arrow as a whole does not travel that fast, and I would be shocked if that could even penetrate the human body. I would be willing to put a bet on, again, that the worst injury that would give you is a bruise.
Why you decided to bring it here? You have I don't know what it is. It looks like a crossbow.
Yeah, it's a pistol crossbow. I don't like firearms. This is a much safer alternative, and it's used only for personal defense as an absolute last resort.
Wow.
I hope I never have to use it.
Did you feel?
Right, so again, another anti-American thing that she just said. She doesn't like firearms, therefore overall doesn't agree with them. Hence why she's chosen a crossbow for self-defense, which I would make the argument that compared to 9mm or 45 ACP, a common handgun cartridge, I don't know if that was a proper, arrow, for example, and that really could do the job that it was intended to do, I would say getting hit by that would be worse than a 9mm or 45 ACP, because it's not just a little pellet going through you, it's an entire rod with a warhead on it. Sorry, not a warhead, an arrowhead on the end of it as well. Also, why would you choose a less than lethal quotation marks to defend yourself against evil? In my opinion, if I'm in a kill or be killed situation where I have to fight for my life or fight for the life of others around me that I care about, I want the bigger stick in that scenario. Again, just seems like common sense to me whatsoever. And her saying she only wants to use it as a last resort, that's what Americans do as well when they have access to firearms. For the most part, of course, they will only use it as a last resort of self-defense. Again, I don't know what on earth she's on about.
Why did you feel compelled to bring it here? Do you feel unsafe?
Very much so. I'm absolutely terrified to be here.
Right. again, the other thing these people don't seem to understand is the world that they've created, they're living in it. They've kept voting for the same people over and over again, or overall the same types of people over and over again. And these are the worst people for the job, and they're wondering why they are living in a third world, communist dystopian nightmare. Again, they're responsible for this. They wanted this, and now that they're living in the environment that they wanted, that they created, I think they're starting to realize, oh no, we didn't like this, we don't want this whatsoever. However, they're too stupid to realize that, and in a moment of being a paradox, they don't want to be living in this world, but they want to continue to live in this world. Again, I understand that doesn't make sense, but when it comes to these people, I can't even try to unravel this to make sense of it. Hence why I always call these people paradox people.
One last question for you, since it caught my eye. I see you have a hammer and sickle tattoo. Can you tell me more?
That little giggle or laugh that she just did was the kind of nervous reaction of, oh shit, I don't have a way to cover this up. Quite literally as well, I'm going to have to dig deep to explain this one. Oh shit, I'm in deep shit here.
More about this tattoo?
I was born in the Soviet Union. I was brought here when I was a little kid, but it's just a symbolism of where I came from. No, I do not support Russia. No, I don't condone anything that it does or that Putin has done. I would consider myself more of a socialist, but it's just a symbol of where I was born.
Right, so that's the end of the video pretty much. So let's just go over all of that. Again, going back to Thomas Jefferson, her thinking she is, a true American woman with true American blood running through her veins, which I would be willing to argue that it's not blood, it's KFC gravy. Now, her claiming to be a socialist, which sounds very American to me, and also having a full-blown communist tattoo, yeah, again, that sounds very American to me as well. Now, that tattoo that she claims to, that tattoo that she has, and the reason that she's got it is because she wanted something to remind her of home or where she came from. I'm willing to put my life in the line to say that she's not from Russia or any other communist country, whether it was or still is a communist country in any way, shape or form. I think she has 100%, American blood running through her system, but as I said before, I'd be willing to put money on it that it's KFC gravy running through her veins. Now, if you wanted a tattoo to remind you of the home that you came from, why not just get a Russian flag tattoo or a tattoo of the Kremlin or something, which I suppose the argument of maybe is the Kremlin still communist or not, but why not just get a Russian flag tattoo? Like, why not get that or something, or a fucking Russian standard vodka bottle as a tattoo? Why get a communist party with the hammer and sickle above it as the tattoo? It would be like somebody who escaped Germans in 1944, then 20 to 30 years later, you decide to get a tattoo to remind you of the country that you come from, so you decide to get a tattoo of the swastika flag. Why not just get a tattoo of the German flag or something that's overall representative of Germany? Why get a tattoo of some of the most evil political parties that have ever existed? Again, doesn't make sense. Now, when she said that she was a socialist, I think she was trying to cover her tracks because she didn't want to admit that she was a full-blown communist, hence the tattoos, because socialism, for some stupid reason, is far more acceptable within the Western world than being a full-blown communist, which also I find to be quite funny as well with these people. They seem to like the idea in their head of living in a communist dystopian nightmare. However, whenever it comes too close to them in real life of affecting them, they seem to don't want that anymore. And the other thing that I find funny as well is, if they were to be truly living in this communist dystopian nightmare, they would be the first types of people to be lined up against the wall, and the last thing they would hear is a bunch of Russian soldiers racking around in their PPSHs or AK-47s before gunfire ran out. Oh god, these people are just absolutely painful, and it's reasons like this that I've kind of changed my mind somewhat recently-ish, that I don't really believe in equality. I've not really ever believed in equality, but I think it's just hardened it even more. We really need to go back to times when people said things like this out loud in public that are absolutely beyond retarded, that we should just tell them to shut the fuck up, you're retarded, go home, we will not listen to you, and you shall not speak again. Shut the fuck up. Jesus Christ. These people are absolutely beyond painful, and sadly it's people like this that have control right now, but I think they're starting to slowly but surely lose their grip, and we're seeing evidence of that in the past few months, and hopefully in the upcoming years we will see a massive shift that gives these types of people far less power, because retardation and power is the worst combination this universe has ever put together, and that needs to end. Now, I'll wrap the video up there. Thank you very much for tuning in, it's greatly appreciated. If you could like, subscribe, hit the bell notification, we're less than 5 subs away, that'd be awesome if we could hit that by the end of this week. If you can leave a comment down below if you agree or disagree with anything that I've said, or you want me to cover a topic in tomorrow's video, please just let me know down below. If you want to hear some truly uncensored opinions of mine over on Twitter, it's at rant-A-holic, links in the pinned top comment. But I'll wrap it up there. Thank you very much. You've all been awesome watching. I love yous all, and as always, keep on rolling. Have a great day and a better week to follow. See ya!
There's so much trans hate in the fucking world. Sorry, there's so much trans hate in the world right now, and I'm so done with it. And pride just means that we are unabashedly happy just to be alive.
Yeah. And where do you personally feel that hate is coming from?
Most places, but especially the government.
And in your own life, where would you say that you feel the hate the most?
I feel like I kind of internalize a lot of the hate, so it feels like it mostly comes from myself at this point, because